welcome. Today I'm going to be showing you how to use the Columbia 4R4L posterior universal curette. Now, this instrument is excellent for the use on removing heavy calculus posterior deposits, and it is also great for narrow pockets and for Cajans. Now, this instrument, because it's a curette, you can take a closer look. It has a rounded toe and it has two cutting edges on both sides. Now, if you take a closer look, you can see that the face is at a 90-degree angle to the lower shank, and the lower shank, when you are instrumented, must be tilted slightly toward the tooth surface in order to be able to establish that correct angulation. So now we're going to go on and we're going to be using this instrument. But first, before we begin, we must first establish the correct working end. And in order to do that, you may want to start by placing the instrument right into proximately between two posterior teeth, in this case, the two premolars. Now, if you take a closer look, you can see how my lower shank is parallel to the long axis of the tooth. And you can also see how the functional shank goes up and over that first premolar. So that is how I know I have the correct end. Another way is to place the instrument right on the buccal surface of that tooth, of any of these posterior teeth, and you'll see how the instrument actually hugs the mesial. Whereas if I were to use the incorrect working end, you see how now the instrument is not parallel to the long axis of the tooth, and it is not adapted correctly. And if I were to place the instrument pointing towards the mesial surface, now you see that the tip is pointing outward, so that is incorrect. Okay, so this is the correct working end. And now that we got that down packed, let's begin.